Hi folks, I'm Chief Kirk. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to play with my alcohol stove a little bit, and I'm always trying to find ways of doing things kind of on the cheap. And what I have designed here uh, is a windshield for my little stove. And I'm going to try that out and see how it works. Now, you can buy these things and they're fancy and they fold up and all kind of stuff, and that's real neat, but I'm kind of doing things on the cheap here, so I wanted to see if I could make one. And what I have made here is not pretty by any means, but it is effective. So hang with me till I reposition the camera and then we'll play with this thing. Okay, now what I have here is a little alcohol stove, and I'm going to heat this cup of water on my stove. One of the things I want you to notice is this cup does not sit well on top of this stove. It might possibly work, but it's kind of stuck down in there. So I'm using this little invention that I made, and I'll put it on here just like this. Then I can set my cup on there and it'll sit just fine. Now, what I need to do is light my stove. And I believe it lit. Yeah, it did. Now it'll take it a few minutes to catch up. So, in the meantime, I'm going to sit my cup of water on there. And I'm going to set this over off of the ground so that it doesn't get wet. Now, the part that I wanted to show you is this little handmade deal right here. Now, the handy thing about this is that it costs $1, and you can get them at about any grocery store in the dollar aisle or Dollar Tree, places like that. You can get this. This was just a baking pan, which was about 16 inches by 8 inches or 10 or something like that. And I just cut the edges off of it. And what I'm going to do now, the wind is coming from this direction here, so I'm going to set this just like this. And that should block the wind off of it just fine. Now, these little alcohol stoves have a hard time if the wind is blowing pretty good. So, what I also thought about is, even though there's really not enough wind right at the moment to cause a lot of problems here with this, if the wind was very strong, it'd blow it over. So, what I did was, there's a couple different things you can do. I have found that these, yeah, see, it blew it over right there. I have found that these little tent stakes that you can get at Walmart for less than $1 a piece are handy for a whole lot of things. If I hadn't used this little thing that I invented here, I could have laid these on top of this and set my cup on top of there. That would have worked fine. But now here's what I'm going to do. I can also take this and I can push it in the ground right there, put one over on this side, and that should keep the wind from blowing it. Now, if the wind comes from the opposite direction also, I have these. You can also use more stakes. I just happen to have these laying around. You can go to the back put one in each corner or wherever you think it needs to be. Now, that thing should be pretty sturdy and the wind shouldn't bother it at all, or at least unless it's really strong. If it's really strong, you may have to wait a while before you get a cup of coffee. So anyhow, this is what I wanted to show you, and my little stove is cooking just fine as far as I can tell. I'm going to take this off and see if I can see it any better. With an alcohol stove, when it's light outside, it is almost impossible to see. You about got to stick your hand over it to see if it's actually getting heat. But this thing is getting heat because I can see the bubbles starting to come up in my water. But anyhow, I just wanted to share this with you. These things here, now, although I call this first-class hillbilly engineering, and I can do that since I am a hillbilly, you can buy ones that are fancy and they fold up, but you know, if you want to, you can fold this piece of tin right here up, or aluminum, I guess it is. You can fold that up to whatever size you want to and put it in your pack or your hip pocket or anywhere else, and then unfold it. If you don't need it that tall, you can fold it in the middle. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with just this little old cheap piece of aluminum here. It's easy to work with. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to show you, and my water is almost at a boil, and I didn't come here to show you boiling water. What I wanted to show you with this little trick right here. So anyhow, thanks for joining me on this one, and till I see you next time, remember, tell somebody you love them, because tomorrow may be too late. God bless you. I'll see you on the next one.